Next up on the agenda, rematch of the second round of the playoffs last year, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Detroit Lions. Start with the quarterbacks here. We've got Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. Who would have thought a couple years ago that this would turn out to be two really solid fantasy quarterbacks? Goff gets the third best matchup here, and looking for Baker. Baker gets the 13th best. So great matchup for Goff, average matchup for Baker. I like both of them here. I think they're both high-end QB2s. Baker I've got at 13. Goff I actually have up to 10, so I'm pretty high on both of them. You are starting both of them, obviously, in Superflex. You're probably starting both of them in one QB unless you've somehow managed to stack a much better quarterback. But like I said, Goff's at 10 for me, so there aren't many quarterbacks above him in the rankings. The running backs are interesting here. For the Tampa side, we have Rachaad White. Gave up a lot on the ground to Bucky Irving. He still had all the pass downs worked. Sixth worst matchup for the Bucs. The Detroit side of the ball, 10th best matchup for the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, still kind of an even split here. I know. So it's 11 rush attempts for Gibbs, 4 receptions. Montgomery got more. He got 17 rush attempts. So all the passing work went to Gibbs. It was about a 60-40 split for Montgomery. That's why I was all over Montgomery. I think he was a great value. He's clearly the rushing downs back. Having said that, my highest in this one, it's going to be Gibbs, White, Montgomery, Irving. I think Irving has some David Montgomery potential here where he's just going to be the boring rushing downs back. I think he might get some of the goal line work. It's enough to be a problem. Both these starters were really highly drafted, and their backups or their 1B is enough to be a problem. I got Gibbs at 10, Montgomery at 17, Rachaad White at 23, and it's probably going to be a ways down for Bucky Irving. He's in the 40s, but like I said, I'm firing up Gibbs as a low-end one. I think I feel comfortable with all three of Gibbs, Montgomery, and White as my RB2. I don't know. I know I have Gibbs ranked as an RB1. I think it's, there aren't really any bell cows here. I don't really want him as my one. Bucky Irving, it's a desperation stream. I think he's more of a stash than anything. Moving on to the wide receivers. Tampa, we've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan, who I really liked. He looked average, but he did get a touchdown in week 1. They also have Trey Palmer, but I think McMillan's the guy for the third, or, the up-and-comer there. Second best matchup for the Bucs. Lions side of the ball, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the other guy I've been on all offseason, Jameson Williams. This is the worst matchup for opposing receivers. I think I have St. Brown the highest. I'm sure I have St. Brown the highest despite the matchup. I have him at 4. Then it's going to be Mike Evans at 10, Chris Godwin at 18. Jameson Williams cracks the 20s for me. He's at 21. I'm going to move him down at some point. That scares me. He's kind of a scary deep threat option here where I don't necessarily know if I love the matchup here. And I think he's going to have, just based on the role he plays, some boomer bust weeks here. You can start him as a wide receiver 3, but just acknowledge he's going to have some ups and downs. Jalen McMillan, desperation flex. If you got to stream him, you can. I think I've got him way down. He's outside top 40 for me. He's at 52. So it's not great, but I'm sure there's rosters in, my 100 leagues that I'll be starting him. And I don't hate it. I don't look at him and go, oh, I've got to start him. I've got one lineup where I was really desperate. I lost like 4 players in week 1, and one of my flexes is going to be Devon Vele. And I'm like, oh, I don't love it. I feel better if I have McMillan as my flex there. It's not something I hate. It's not something I'm actively looking to target. I don't want it in a lot of leagues, but it is what it is. Tight ends here, we have the most frustrating tight end in football, Cade Otton, 13th best matchup. He's always on the field. He just never does anything with it. Sam Laporta, 19th best matchup. I am sure Laporta is ranked considerably higher. Let me switch tabs here. Sam Laporta is my one. Cade Otton is down at 18. He is a desperation stream, I guess, if you need to. I'm not really looking to do it there. Sam Laporta is a must start at all costs. I've actually tried to trade Sam Laporta in a couple of dynasty leagues, despite the fact that he's my number one this week. I'm really jumping on the Brock Bowers train, and I've tried to sell high on Laporta here and go Laporta for Brock Bowers and an additional piece or an additional pick. We'll see how that pans out, but I'm certainly still all in on Sam Laporta. I just think Brock Bowers is younger and is going to have some real upside here. We've seen in week one, he's a player right off the bat.